is be ready to face the challenges of change. Be ready to face the challenges of change. Things change. And change is a permanent or a constant in life. Things change spiritually, things change emotionally, things change physically. I've seen people who've been married who said, I didn't know that's how he was. I didn't know that's how she was. She tricked me. She didn't show me her true colors. I would not have married. But you know, she showed you her true colors, but you didn't see it. Because at that time you were wearing a spectacle called the love blues. And when you wear the love blues spectacle, everything is blue. Everything looks nice. Everything looks purple. So you don't see clearly. So although people show you their true colors, you are blinded by love. As they say, love is strange. Most of the time, people who are outside see all the problems, but you never see it. Because you are under tension. You need to relieve some tension. And also, you are so much in love, you don't see reality. Most of the things you experience in marriage, you saw them, but you didn't take note of them. They were not strange. They were there all the time, but you didn't see them. So you must be ready for the challenges of change. The moment you marry, change begins. Some change will be positive, some will be negative. Some will be depreciation, others will be appreciation. Some will go up, some will go down. Remember that as human beings, generally, we grow old by the day. So the day you married your husband or your wife, you continue the process of growth. And growth has its upward value and downward value. Its upward value is that as we grow, hopefully we become wiser and better people. But in the same way as we become wiser, we also become weaker physically. So, in growth, there is both appreciation and depreciation. There are changes that take place in every marriage, and most times people find it difficult to handle these changes. Let me give you some of the changes. One is parenthood. Parenthood. Once you become parents, everything is going to change. Everything, believe you me. I have 4 children. I can tell you, at least that one, that once you start having children, everything is going to change. Attention will change, focus will change, money will be stretched. Parenthood has great challenges for couples. Financial challenges, emotional challenges, sexual challenges. You have changes like loss of a job. Although we don't pray that we will lose our jobs, people lose their jobs when they marry. The man who had a stable job gets fired because of HIPIC. And these days, some of the major changes our generation is faced with is the change of dealing with a wife who works. When I was a child, almost all the women I knew worked at home. They probably sold bread or sold kinky or probably made little bed sheets at home, but everything was at home. Nobody went out. So I remember when my father closed from work, where we were staying, a lot of his office people, not really office factory, but they lived there. And in the mornings at about 7:15, a big truck, and those days the truck, it wasn't a bus, a truck will come and load all of them, my father and all his workers, and go in the morning. And they all jump on the truck and they go to work. And in the evening, the truck brings them back and loads all of them, and they all go home. Their wives are sitting at home. They are cooking for them, and they go and sit down, cross their legs, ask for the food, and eat. But it's changed. These days, you come home, whether it's a truck that brought you, or you brought yourself, or you walked home, you get home, and the key is with the next door neighbor. So if you are the man, you go and open the door, and nobody is waiting for you, because your wife's boss has given her an assignment, and she has to finish by 9:30 before she comes home. So it's changed. If you don't adjust to these changes, you can create a lot of problems. The idea of a wife that works outside the home. The change of in-laws. You thought your parents were enough until you added your husband's parents too. You thought yours were bad. Then you added your husband's parents in addition to yours who were giving you trouble. And you have 4 old people to deal with. All of them also going through changes. Some of them are growing old, they are getting sicker and weaker, and you've inherited all of them. When you were marrying, you thought it was romantic until you saw 4 old people showing up. So that's a change. Relocation. You move from place to place. When I got married to my wife, we moved so hard. After a point, I forgot where we had stayed before, because we kept moving. The first house we lived in, we were there for a few weeks, and the landlord came and said he's collecting his house. And I prayed. I told him I was a pastor, as a man of God. He had no value for me as a pastor, no value. He said, you have to leave. And I'm telling you, when they start moving you that way, they really move you. They move you till your heart is paining you. But they moved us. And believe you me, they moved us. My wife was pregnant, and we didn't know where to go the next time. I mean, you're moved, and you don't know where to stay a day after. But we went to stay with some church members, which has its own complications. I don't want to get into that. I need to keep my members, can complain about them. It has its own complications. And so on and so forth. We moved probably about 5-6 times within a very short time. We lived, when we married, at a point we lived, my wife and I, 2 other pastors and their wives, in 3 bedrooms. Each room had a couple in it, with children and maid. So the maid servants were crashing in the kitchen and in the bathroom. You give instruction and it's overturned. Food in the fridge is anointed in the Holy Ghost, and all kinds of things begin to happen. So these are changes. They put stress. You have to learn to deal with them. Infertility. Everybody marries hoping to have children, but sometimes it delays. And it can put a lot of stress on your marriage. That's when a lot of couples start insulting one another. Aging. I've talked about that. Sickness. Sometimes disability. Although you don't pray for it, sometimes things happen you didn't pray for and you didn't anticipate. These are changes that will occur in most marriages, and you can think of several other changes that occur. When changes take place, a couple must be ready to cope with them, and in a later time I will teach on some of those things.